Hello everyone and welcome to a special unboxing review all about Star Trek. And with us we have a special guest, the big boss man himself. Welcome!
Thank you.
And I believe this is your first time on screen in 2022 as well.
Yes.
So I hope you had a very lovely new year. So let us start. We have 10 ships to go through today and we are going to start with, what's this called? The Bon Vista or something?
Overtime.
Oh, the Bon
Bonaventure.
Bonaventure, okay.
Course.
So, we're not going to be reviewing the magazines, we're just going to be reviewing the actual ships themselves. Now, the Bonaventure, it's the NCC 1000, and I believe it's a prototype to the Constitution class.
I'm not 100% sure. It does seem to have a lot of similarity to the Constitution.
Yeah, because this
just doesn't really have a neck on it.
Yeah, that's the cool part of it. I thought there would be a bit to open, so see, there's not. We'll just open this.
It might be at the bottom. Something to put them at the bottom.
No, it doesn't feel that way. We'll just have to open this like this. In respect, we should have.
This one does at the top.
Yeah, that one does, but this one does not. Okay, so there is the front cover of the magazine. We're not going to review the full magazine, but that is what it looks like. Now, I don't believe that this was actually on any of the shows. I think this is just.
No, it wasn't.
I think this is pretty much just. What's that called? It was like an idea, concept
Yeah,
model
it's a concept, yeah.
of just what it would look like. So
Yeah, Eaglemoss have done quite a few of them, as we know.
yeah, I kind of like them. I like the idea
Quite
of
interesting.
seeing ships that you wouldn't normally get to see. So this is what we were talking about. That it instead of having the front part and then it goes up, it's all just one bit in the center, which I think is very, very cool.
Yeah, it's more streamlined.
Now, I think that this one is an online exclusive. I don't think you can get it naturally in shops. I think this you have to actually get from the Eaglemoss website.
Yeah,
So it's a bit of a special edition.
Yeah, it's one of their special issues.
Yeah. So I think he's relatively hard to get as well.
Yeah.
But he has shown up again in the UK Eaglemoss website.
Yeah.
So if you do want to get hold of him, now is the right time to do it. So let's just clip this onto here. We'll put that like that. And we'll put you into here. That sits lovely. And then we shall turn on the switch. It's around here somewhere. There it is. I had it hidden at the back. And there we go. So now you can see it rotating in all of its glory. I think this one is one of the cooler little ships.
It's the design effort's quite starting from the late 21st century during the Dominion War. How they were designing ships for war and how they were trying to design ships as well to defeat the Borg and making them more streamlined. What you see with the Defiant and the Enterprise E.
Oh. So there's some information that I would have had no idea on. So we're just going to leave that rotating there in the background for you all to watch while we look at the next one. Now, John, do you know what this is? I haven't told.
That's another copy of Enterprise, but the special reason for this one, this was the actual version that appeared in the very first episode under the command of Captain Pike.
Yes, it is the cage version, the one from the very, very start, the very, very first. And this one, see, right, this is what we were talking about. This one has a little bit at the back. You just pull it open. The last one did not.
Yeah.
So we're going to open this up. You know what? I should have definitely got scissors. Did not plan ahead. I just thought these would be easy to open. You know what? I think I might even just pause it and then go and get scissors. And we are back, everyone. And here we are. This is the cage version of the Enterprise. Now, there isn't that much of a difference between the cage.
It's mostly on the nacelles. You can see those kind of
these little spikes
there, and there's like fins here as well.
The other part here is this little part up at the top here, this little dome, because in the cage episode, this is where they used to like actually zoom into on that one first episode, as if all the captains and such were all at this little bit up at the top. So let us move you off to the side. There we are. You can sit over here. And we will take a look at the Cage Enterprise as we unbox it. So here he is. There, it's a very lovely looking ship actually.
Even though
very
not a
cool.
lot of detail within the saucer, it's still quite nice.
I think this little bit at the top should be a little bit higher up, judging by the image. But like this is a bit closer. Well, the other thing is the underside actually has these little bits on it. If the camera would focus, which it is not. There we go. And you can see that it's got the code at the bottom of it. So we'll put this down for just a second while we get a stand. I should really like the whole team up while I was getting at the stand, but no matter. Oh, this is another thing that I need to do because this is something that collectors like to see. At the base here, every one of these has a different number, and on occasion people can get 001 or they can get 1701
Or they get misprints.
Yes.
For I originally started collecting these when they were officially being sent out to newsagents.
Oh, really?
Issue either 2 or 3 was the Klingon Bird of Prey. My stand said it was the USS Enterprise.
Ah, my goodness.
Unfortunately, I can't find that model anymore. I may have got rid of it.
Oh dear. Okay, let's zoom in, and there we go. There is the beautiful cage version of the Enterprise. So for the viewers at home, why don't you tell us a little bit about Captain Pike while I...
Captain Pike was the very first captain of the Enterprise. He was only in a very few episodes, but also appeared later on within the original series in his disabled form.
Yes, he did.
Due to the events of the first two episodes, if I remember correctly, because it was a 2-parter.
I'm not sure, was it?
I can't fully remember. He ends up becoming quite disabled, unable to move.
Yep.
So he's
And
put
he's
kind
in-
of like into a big kind of like black boxed wheelchair where he can only communicate via
Bleeps.
bleeps.
And
Which is-
Spock was his
His-
original lieutenant, and Spock had to make the decision about what captain it was he
Yes.
wanted to follow the orders of, whether he wanted to follow Pike or whether he wanted to follow Kirk. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. Okay, so the next one we have is this one.
Which is Captain Proton's rocket ship
Yes.
from Star Trek Voyager.
Okay, I know almost nothing about this, so
Yes.
it will be the Busmancer that will be telling you
Yeah.
all about it while I open this up.
This ship appears as part of a holodeck program series called The Adventures of Captain Proton, which was favoured by Lieutenant Tom Paris, as he was quite into like everything from the 20th century, which you will see in a fair few episodes. His kind of fascination with the 20th century also influenced the design of the Delta Flyer and its controls.
And there we are, just
As you
showing
know,
off the
kind of
little
from the next
magazine.
generation onwards, it's quite LCARS based, but he kind of wanted visual controls. That's why it kind of like had levers and such.
Ah,
But this is a ship that appears within the holodeck series of Captain Proton, because it's kind of one of those kind of retro black and white sci-fi movies that
Oh,
the
right, so
series
it's
is
meant to
based
be
on. Yeah, so this was his
like a
rocket ship.
60s B-movie kind of thing.
Yeah,
That's pretty awesome, actually. You know, this is a really cool ship.
yeah,
I've
it's
got
quite
it
nice.
sitting here in front of me.
It's quite nice they included it in the collection,
Yeah.
even though it's not a main ship, it's only a holographic ship.
Well,
Like, it does appear in a few episodes of Voyager when it's based around his holodeck program.
in fairness, it's probably appeared more than what the Enterprise J did, because although there was that episode
Yeah,
where the
one
Enterprise J was in
episode.
it, you don't actually see the ship. You just see
You see the interior and a kind of LCARS display of it.
yes. So there is the code for this one, if anyone at home cares. And why isn't it focusing? There you go. Now to focus back on the cage.
So it does appear in a few episodes of Voyager, especially one that mostly takes place in the holodeck, where Voyager is invaded, holodeck is invaded by photonic beings from another dimension.
Oh. You know, there's a lot of episodes about the holodeck.
Yes.
I was thinking more Next Generation. I'm not so familiar with Voyager. I'm more
Next
familiar with Next
Generation has a
Generation.
few based kind of around the holodeck.
Uh,
DS9 had sort of few episodes revolving around about events in the holodeck, including Worst Bachelor Party. You had crew of DS9 going against the crew of another Federation starship playing baseball.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's time for us to move the cage.
And the thing is,
And we'll take a look
the events of the final
at
episode of
Captain
Enterprise
Proton.
were all basically a holodeck recreation,
Oh, really?
as Commander Riker and Deanna Troi both featured in that episode.
Really? That's
Basically,
crazy.
the way they made the final episode of Enterprise was it happens during an episode of The Next Generation where an admiral appears that Riker knows and they're going to retrieve the Pegasus, which was the
Oh,
very first Federation starship equipped with a cloaking device, but unfortunately suffered an accident.
yeah, and it was
So
hidden
so
out
they
in
were going
space.
through the events of the final episode of Enterprise in order for Riker to make his decision to tell Picard what he knows of the Pegasus and why they're so desperate to get it.
Yeah, because Riker was originally on the Pegasus, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, he was an ensign at the time.
That's pretty cool. And yeah, they weren't supposed to have the cloaking
Yeah.
device because that is considered very, very illegal and worse.
I think it's part of the some accords that they weren't allowed cloaking technology. But that's changed as of the 51st century in Discovery.
Okay, so the next one is a big special issue.
Oh.
This is the Voyager, which I can't even fully get on camera.
Special lighting.
It is absolutely massive.
It is.
It does come with its own magazine as well.
It's an absolute beast.
Yes. So Voyager is, of course, from the very first movie, Star Trek the Motion Picture #1.
Yes, you could technically call it the antagonist of the movie.
Yeah.
As it absolutely obliterated the Klingon B7 battle cruisers.
Yes. Which is not an easy feat to do.
Many theories about this ship as well floating about through the
Yeah.
community.
I love the theories of Voyager. So there is the back of the magazine, and we can now see a little bit of a better look.
It's actually the image that gives
Voyager.
quite detailed considering this was a movie that out in the 70s.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it wasn't even called Star Trek the first movie. It was called Star Trek the Motion Picture because they didn't think that there would be a sequel movie, or at least.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably hoped there would be a sequel movie, but they didn't anticipate it.
Yeah.
So, this is going to be pretty cool. So, I'm going to move Captain Proton's ship over to the side here so that people can actually see the unboxing of this monster. And I'm going to move the turntable as well, just for a moment, while we do the actual unboxing of this beast. So,
Big box.
yeah, he's really, really cool. So the big twist at the end of the movie, spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen a movie that is almost 50 years old at this point, this was actually Voyager, which was a ship that,
Well, it wasn't a ship, it was a probe.
yeah, but it was a real life probe that was sent into
Yes,
space
This
and we
was the
lost
one
it.
that I believe, if I remember correctly, contained the golden disc.
Couldn't tell you.
The golden disc is just, it was a collection of human data, a picture of a male and a female, and that had lots of music and all that on it.
Alright.
The golden disc, a lot of
my
extra
goodness.
information appeared within, I believe it was a few episodes of Transformers Beast Wars as a main plot item.
Really? Wow. And there we go, there is the code for anyone out there that enjoys that sort of thing.
It's a bit smaller than I was expecting.
Yeah, but I mean, it's detailed. I mean, I kind of like that it isn't giant.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people out there love their giant ships, but me, I just do not have the space for them.
I've got a couple of XLs and I do like my XLs.
Mm-hmm. Well, this isn't an XL. This is a special.
Yeah.
Yeah. So its stand is very unique. I haven't seen a stand like this before. So let us take him out of his packaging. It's actually a lot lighter than I thought.
Yeah.
But Wow. Like, this is a really, really cool looking ship.
Yeah, quite an amazing amount of detail in it.
Yeah, they've really, like, Eaglemoss really put a lot of effort into this thing.
Yeah. Shame there's kind of like still wee bits
Oh, no, yeah,
of styrofoam on it.
That's just a little bit of styrofoam that isn't damaged.
Yeah.
It's just because these things come nice and packaged. I can give that a little bit of a dust later, and that will remove that. But there we go. So you were talking a little bit before we got distracted about the theories. So why don't you tell some of the people at home?
Well, some of the theories is it was mentioned that it was reconstructed from a cybernetic species.
Yes.
Some theorise that this species was the Borg.
Yep, that is the leading rumour that even I've heard.
I don't really think it is. I think it must have been a different species because there is different origins to the Borg within series and novels. Oh, this is going to hit.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. It's like, is he going to hit? There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, there. Yeah. We sorted it. We got it, guys. But I mean, that's just how big Voyager actually is.
Yeah.
So
it was rebuilt into this massive ship to return to Earth. So that's what its kind of main directive was to gather information and transmit it back to Earth.
Yes.
But eventually, at the end, ends up becoming a new life form. And it's never seen again.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's that. There's an entire section of space that is just unknown, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's it's not from where the Borg come from, but it's where species 8472.
That's fluidic space. Basically, Star Trek now has 4 quadrants: your alpha, beta, gamma, and delta.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha is where we are with a bit of beta. Delta was where the entirety of Voyager was set.
Oh yes.
And Gamma was part of Deep Space Nine through the wormhole. And you've also been introduced to fluidic space, and we also know of the galactic boundary, which is something you're not really meant to pass through.
Oh
It
yes.
seems to be a key point now for the latest season of Discovery, which I am not going to mention any further in case anyone here is still watching it.
Yes.
And are not at the
For
halfway
spoilers.
point.
So the next one we are going to be looking at, my goodness, just have to wait for Voyager. If you just want to move him carefully. The next one is the Taplana Hath Vulcan lander. Ooh. Now, this is one that I've been waiting for a long, long time. It is the last Vulcan ship that I needed for my collection.
Well, there's still a shuttle set that features a Vulcan shuttle.
Yeah, I didn't really want to go collecting the shuttles because the shuttles, well, they're relatively expensive for a start. Let's move you back a little bit there so you aren't going to hit. But also,
some people like them.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. In terms of a collector's point, I think the shuttles are great because it means that you can
quite small.
get...
We've seen them.
Yeah.
Images of them are quite small, except for the build the Enterprise ones, which are massive.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'll be doing an unboxing of my shuttle set too when it arrives.
Okay. Do you want to give a plug to your own channel there, Big Boss Man?
I can't even remember what my channel's even called.
Okay,
anymore.
Wonderful.
What is there? I'm sure we'll leave a link in the description.
We won't. the description's pre-written. You can leave a description in the comment section.
Yes, I'll leave it in the comment.
In the comment section is where you want to go, folks. So this is the T Planet Hath Vulcan lander, which is absolutely wonderful. John, why don't you tell us a little bit about this movie?
This movie?
Yeah, the movie that it comes from.
Right, this officially appeared in Star Trek First Contact, which was the second movie of the Next Generation era.
Mm-hmm.
This was it was a survey vessel that was in the Sol system at the time of the movie, and this was the ship the Vulcans used to land on Earth and make first contact. Yes. As they detected the warp signature of Severin Cochrane's ship.
Absolutely. I'm shocked that you know the person's name. That's amazing knowledge.
You do not know the father of Warp Drive?
I remember him from the movie. I remember him and Riker drinking. Couldn't tell you his name.
Severin Cochrane actually made an on-screen appearance in an episode of Enterprise, but it
really?
was kind of a historical recording Archer was watching. It was featured.
That's pretty cool.
Enterprise had one episode where the Borg were featured, but it's kind of made First Contact actually a canon movie.
Are they not all canon movies?
Well, it's kind of hard to judge.
I wasn't aware of that.
But apparently, I know First Contact and Nemesis appear to be canon.
Yes, Nemesis is definitely canon. And when are we getting that ship?
The Titan has actually been revealed.
What?
It's come part of the War Decks collection, I believe. Someone posted pictures of it on one of the Facebook groups.
Not the USS Titan we've already got.
No, I think this is another version of it.
Yeah, it's an XL version.
Yeah.
I think. No, what I was referring to was the ship that's got all the big spikes coming off of it. That's the ship that'd been upgraded by the Borg.
I don't know. I think it's already been out.
No, they didn't make one of it because it was too difficult. The little spikes were too spindly. I think they said. So, oh my goodness, there he is, the T-Planet Hath.
Again, quite a nice bit of detailing there.
Oh, I love him. I've been waiting for it for so long. Where's the stand? Oh, there's a stand. Yep. There we go.
Oh, what code did we get this time?
We got 4507AA.
Oh, nearly.
Almost. Can you put the Voyager back on so that the good folks at home have something interesting to watch while I set up the stand? Here. Ah, there we go.
Yes, you may all enjoy the sight of my lovely, lovely arm.
There we go. So yeah, and also the thing about this T-Planet Hath is it is huge.
Only ever made one appearance, and that was in First Contact.
Yeah, because it was obviously a very old ship in terms of the Vulcans.
Well, the Vulcans technically, as of War Decks, are still using their own ships, and they appear to be the same ones that are being used in Enterprise.
Whereas Romulans absolutely despise the Vulcan ships, as far as I remember. Oops, there we go. You got a little bit of polystyrene on the camera. Hang on, give me a second. There we are. Got it. So how does this? Like that. Okay.
Yeah, because it's kind of
there we go.
freebie strap bits.
Okay, right. So let's move the Voyager. You come off of there. The Voyager really is pretty huge. And let's put this on. Yeah. And let's have him land. Oh my goodness, I had it like just a second ago. Here, hang on. I need to actually be looking at this. Oh, in order to actually set them up. There we go. Okay. I just thought that you would be able to put them on and you would just clip in, and you can't. So we've learned something here. And oh my goodness, now the stand isn't working. Just a little bit of technical difficulty here, folks.
Some of these stands appear to do that.
Yes.
From time to time.
I think the little glass part is manufactured in a different area from the... You know, I've tried doing this both ways and neither way seems to be happy, so I'm just going to leave it like that. I think that is just the best that you're going to get from them. And there we go. There's the T-Planet Hath, which is very, very nice.
Yeah, really quite a lot of detail in there.
Like, I love
just pure panel lining and everything there. Well, you can see different shading of colour on it as well.
Yeah. And a part that you can't really see, you might be able to see it in the mirror, is the underside of it is actually really detailed as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is one of the nicest models. I personally think. Oh no, that's Voyager's ship. Oh, it's over here. The T-Planet Hath box is also fairly massive compared to some of the others. So, but it's such an iconic ship, and I think we all wanted it for a long, long time, and it was a long time before Eaglemoss actually gave it to us.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought that this would actually be the end of the Eaglemoss series because it's technically the first ship, sort of.
But technically, the first ship was the Phoenix.
Yeah, true, actually, yeah.
Technically, Enterprise, the Borg sphere was technically the first.
Well, if you want to go right back to the very beginning.
Yeah, we could argue this all day.
Yes.
It's probably one of the first two ships in the Star Trek universe.
Yeah,
Really.
and it is absolutely fantastic.
Well, time properly and construction time wise, yeah. This would probably have been before the Phoenix.
Oh yeah, because this would have been fully built, and it came down to recognise the Phoenix.
Yeah, because the Phoenix was just a repurposed missile.
Yes, it was.
With warp drive, which begs the question that people have asked: where did Seth and Cochran get the dilithium for the warp drive?
That's a very good question.
It's one I've never thought about until I saw something that was like, where did they get the dilithium?
And it's like, huh?
That's very strange.
That's a very good question.
If
Right.
anyone has an answer, leave it in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. I do love hearing these. One of the things, before we just move on to the next ship, I just want to show a size comparison to a regular ship. So the cage is roughly the size of a regular ship, and you can see just the absolute difference between these. And I'm also going to do a size comparison with Voyager. So there is Voyager. Well, actually, I'll put that but too close to the camera and it made it look giant. Voyager is almost the same length, but it's nowhere near the width that the Tiplanahath has. And lastly, I'm just going to very quickly show the difference between the cage and the Voyager. And there you go, there is the difference in size between them. So the Voyager is quite a little bit larger, but not so insanely massive.
Yeah.
I mean, thankfully the Voyager isn't to scale, because otherwise the Enterprise would be like that. It would be tiny. So, I do like that the Voyager has been made big, but not massive. Is there an XL Voyager?
No.
No, okay.
I believe Voyager was just one of the special editions they brought out.
Because
they don't seem to make many of the XL special versions.
Yeah, I think maybe because the special versions are already
I think they
fairly big.
generally tend to keep it for the main stuff, but they did bring out an extra large Deep Space Nine as well.
Yes, they did. Although there isn't that much difference between the two Deep Space Nines.
Well, it's just kind of size.
So this is our next one. So John, you're going to have to give us a lot of information about this, because I still haven't actually watched Discovery yet.
I believe this was either the first or the second ship of the Discovery ship line.
Okay, so it's the NCC 1031.
Yes. This is the main ship of Star Trek Discovery, the USS Discovery. This is the first one before the retrofit in Season 4, but I will not go to spoilers. It was one of two Glenn-class vessels featuring a unique form of propulsion known as the Spore Drive, which allowed instantaneous travel across the galaxy using the Spore network, the mycelial network.
Mycelia, like mushrooms?
Yes.
Weird.
You kind of use mushrooms as an engine.
Yeah.
But I had to have an organic component. It was basically an organic warp drive. There was two ships. As a Crossfield class, there was only two of them. The Discovery and the Glenn.
Oh, yes. Now, the Glenn, that was a special edition version, wasn't it? It was only around for a very limited time.
Basically, it's exactly the same as the Discovery. It was only two equipped with the Spore Drive, but unfortunately the Glenn suffered a big problem, and the Discovery was the only one left.
Oh. I think that is John trying to avoid spoilers for people that haven't seen Discovery.
It was quite an interesting design.
So, I've just opened it up, and inside we have a little magazine.
Yeah, this is the second issue. I believe the first one was the Shenzhou.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Yep.
So this magazine's actually quite a lot smaller than the original ones. You can see It is. Hang on. let me just move the box, shall I? And then we can see. So, yeah, there you go. You can see that there is quite a size difference between them.
I think the reason they done it was just to cut down on packaging.
Yeah, and
So it fits nicely in the box. As you can see from the other magazines, they've kind of went.
yeah, they've been shoved a little bit to the side. So
Yeah.
let's see. So some people, when they open this, instead of getting the Discovery, they get the Glen, and the Glen's worth a tremendous amount more money because it's so much rarer. So let's just see what we have. This one is the Discovery. Okay,
Yes.
well, that is fine with me, actually.
I myself do own this model.
Oh, do you?
It was hated for Christmas, I believe, a couple of years ago.
This is 3677 AD. For anyone interested in the code. So, yeah. So this is, see the design of this ship? It reminds me a little bit of the USS Vengeance, the way that it's designed. Just the actual look of it. So we're going to open this up. I'm quite excited for this. This is my first ever Discovery ship. I mean, of course it is the USS Discovery itself, but I mean it's the first ship from the Discovery series that I've owned. So how do we get this out of here carefully?
Just like that.
There we go. It's very, very flat.
Yeah,
based.
it's actually quite screen accurate.
Yeah, that's very cool.
It was
actually.
quite a different design because it's not having to be bulky containment. It can go to warp, but it doesn't use it very often. It's more the spore drive they use.
Yeah, because this thing spins, doesn't it?
Yes, this outer part here spins.
That's
This
pretty
bit
cool.
This bit here doesn't.
So.
Yeah,
it's
very specific.
pernixity. There we go. Okay,
Specific
got
way
it.
that quite goes on.
And it's also got quite a size to it. I mean, let's compare
Yeah,
that
the
to
Discovery
a
line just seems to
regular.
ships seem to be quite a bit bigger.
Yeah, I think all of the ships in Discovery are all sort of special editions, aren't they?
But it was a different line compared to what the standard kind of like Star Trek collection was.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the size, and I quite like it.
Yeah, I think he looks absolutely beautiful.
Like I've still
Here's what he is.
myself, I've still got the Discovery A to get.
Yeah, because this is the new version, isn't it? Just making sure that he doesn't actually.
Yeah, it's getting quite close.
Um,
It was quite a difference in ship design
yeah.
that we're seeing here for the Discovery compared to what most normal ships are. It's quite, again, streamlined like the Enterprise E.
So, without any spoilers, obviously, I noticed that this is a lower number than the Enterprise. The Enterprise is 1,701,
Yeah.
and this is 1,031. So, whereabouts does this fit in the timeline? Does this have its own timeline, or is this set in
I
the
want
past?
to believe this is a separate timeline because you see it's quite different the way it looks in the actual show, what they've done. The turbo lifting in it's quite different.
Hmm.
It kind of looks modern but kind of old at the same time.
Because obviously,
It's like, when it comes round here, this part here is the shuttle bay.
oh, right.
It doesn't actually have doors, it's used by a force field, which was quite different.
Oh, that's pretty cool actually. That's quite modern.
I like to feel it's near to our timeline, but it's a different one because we know we have our timeline,
Yes.
you have the Kelvin timeline,
Yes.
you have the Terran Universe timeline.
So the Kelvin timeline, for anyone that isn't aware, is what happens at the start of
The
the
Star Trek
new
reboot movie.
Yeah, the Star Trek reboot movie, where it starts off in the which timeline?
It starts in the Kelvin timeline because it features Kirk's father and
Oh no, I mean before that, with the whole part with Spock.
No, it starts straight away in the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah, I know that. I know that it starts with the Kelvin. Yes.
It kind
But,
of switches between the normal Star Trek universe.
Does the normal timeline have a name, or is it just called our timeline?
Technically call it the Prime timeline.
Okay, we'll call it that then. So, the Prime timeline splits because Spock and the Romulan ship that I've forgotten the name of go back in time. And
Well, it's technically not back. Technically, it's back in time, but it technically shifted timelines as well.
yeah, it's an alternate back in time,
Yeah.
and that's how you get the two Spocks meeting up with one another.
Yeah.
Which was very lucky that they did that when they did.
Young Spock.
Yes.
Silas Spock.
I think that was a great movie actually.
I enjoyed it. It was quite an interesting. You take.
I
It shows
really
you
love
the ships are nice, quite designed, but they're also kind of like really old, kind of like technological design to it as well. You see the interiors of the ship, kind of
So-
looks like kind of 24th century, but then you're seeing like what.
Let us now talk about the thing that is on the screen. This is the Section 31 Nimrod class. My goodness.
Yeah.
So I didn't know much about this ship, but when I saw this, I was like,
Yeah.
that is the coolest looking ship I've ever seen.
This appears season 2 of Star Trek Discovery in the last few episodes.
So tell us a bit about the Section 31.
Section 31's first appearance was basically in Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Oh, really?
They were the ones who created the virus that affected the Finders. I believe one of the operatives was Silas. I can't remember if I'm getting the name correct. But they kind of appear in and out of Deep Space Nine in a few episodes.
That's kind of cool.
So Section 31 is kind of like a secret intelligence organisation that kind of works out with the Starfleet bounds.
So,
rules.
Is Section 31 actually owned by Starfleet then?
It technically is. It's a Starfleet division, but it's kind of like they play with their own rules.
Right. So this is... I'm trying to think of a real world comparison. This is like the CIA?
Kind of, basically, Section 31 was to protect the like Starfleet's best interests, but not kind of like follow their rules.
Oh, right, okay.
As was seen.
I mean, we don't really have any real world thing that's like that. I mean, CIA and
as you can
FBI
see
both follow
through
rules
the
of
events of Deep Space Nine when they created the virus that was basically killing off the Finders until there was a cure found.
So this is interesting. Right, so let us move the Discovery. I just put the Discovery there so that the people at home had something nice to look at. So this here is our little...
Nimrod Hush Section 31 ship.
Yes. Which is pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
And there's different versions of the
Yeah,
Section
there's a
31s.
few of them, but I think this was the one that did appear in Discovery.
Oh my goodness. He's a bit more huge than what I expected. So this is 0417. Oh my goodness. You're getting close there. Top 500. So that is pretty cool. Let's just get the stand all up and ready for him. Very interesting here. And we'll get the little turntable back in just a second. So let us open him up. Just have to be very careful here because he's... Wow. This is awesome.
Yeah, he's quite similar to the Stargazer with the 4 pylons.
He is. You're right. It does look like the Stargazer. It looks like a futuristic evil version of the Stargazer.
Yeah.
I love how it's not just black, but they've done the...
Yeah, quite nice tailing. Kind of like there's kind of tiny wee grey bits into it as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like it's like camouflage. You know, it's like black grey camouflage, and also it's got a lot of blue.
NI0064.
Oh,
I think that.
I didn't even realise that you had a code. Let me
I
just
did that.
zoom in on that.
So I noticed it there. You don't see it in screen, but I think this might be Nimrod ship number 64. Only thing I could think of.
There we go. We've got it on screen, nice and focused and detail. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. These were the same ships that appeared as kind of like the final battle of Discovery Season 2. I believe this was the same ship where like all around here was kind of like little drones that detached from the ship and were used in the battle as well.
So, for me, who is a very casual fan and does not know Discovery, the Section 31, are they good guys or are they bad guys?
They're kind of both, really. You feel they're good guys because they're trying to protect the best interests of Starfleet, but they're also kind of bad as in kind of actions they take.
So they're sort of like anti-villains, you would say?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I don't want to go dropping them.
Oh, you definitely got.
No. There we go. There. And then you can sit there on the
Really nice.
turntable. Right, we have been going for 40 minutes and we still have 3 more ships to go. So I think we're going to split this into 2 videos. So this is going to be part 1, where we've done the first 7 ships. And then in part 2, we are going to do the last 3 ships. And the last 3 are all pretty special. So please join us for that. I hope that you look forward to it. And if you enjoy this video, give us a like, share and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, click that notification icon so that you can see when more of these lovely videos go up. And the best thing you can do to help out the channel is to take a look at some of our other videos. And that helps out the channel a little bit and it allows us to create even more content. And that's going to be it for this video, folks. I hope you all enjoyed and we will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.